Esiva, this is LaserBolt and welcome to today's video, guys. Today I am bringing you guys the best settings you could apply for Call of Duty Warzone for Season 4. There are a couple of changes that took place with the new update, and these changes must be applied in order for you to get more kills and become an effective player. But before we get started, I do want to remind you guys we stream live on Twitch. If you haven't had a chance to check us out, make sure you guys stop by and hang out with us. Link is down below. Hit us with that follow so you guys won't miss when we go live. Also, guys, want to give you a reminder that a couple of you are not subscribed to the channel. Yes, I'm looking at you, Johnny. Why haven't you subscribed? If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe now so you guys won't miss when videos go live. So let's go ahead and jump in and talk about what are the best settings to do. Now, this is going to be for console players and PC players all alike. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to open up our menu here and we're going to get started within the general tab. Now this is going to be the main one that's going to be giving you the most advantage. Now some of these settings that I'm going to be showcasing right here are going to be for PC, and then some settings are also going to be for console players as well. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So real quick, we're going to go over the general. That's the main one that you want to go ahead and apply. So field of view, guys, I have it at 110. Some people like to set it at 100. This is only for PC players. We, unfortunately on console we do not have this one, and this is one of the ones that gives it the most advantage out of anything when it comes to playing the game, because this just makes the screen a lot bigger. So I'm gonna put a picture right here so you can see what this does if you're playing on console, and you can see what this does if you're playing on PC. I have mine set to 110. I feel that gives me a really good advantage to see a little bit longer distance. I feel 100 kind of limits me a little bit, but other than that, we're good to go. Now you also want to go ahead and click on the advanced tab. Now when you want to click on the advanced tab, you want to go ADS field of view, and you want to make sure it's set into independent. Basically what this does is that it allows it to differentiate from when you're just regularly running around the map and when you're aiming down sights, retaining your field of view and keeping it the way it's supposed to be. So just set that to independent. Let's go ahead and collapse that. Brightness, you're able to set up to anywhere you want. Now horizontal head-up display, I have this set to 75. Basically what this is going to do, it's going to lower my hub just a tad bit. That way I'm able to see it a little bit better. And you could also do that with the vertical display, so you could set this to 75 as well, and you guys should be good to go. Now of course I have skip intro, tooltips, I have all those enabled. I want to go ahead and skip this one so we can set this to disabled, so it's not going to play the introduction movie every time the game starts, which is really good. Tooltips, I'll leave that enabled. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you disable or enable those. Subtitles I have off. Colorblind type, I have that set to disabled. I'm not colorblind, but if you are colorblind, then definitely keep that in mind. Now for those of you who are playing on console, this is going to be for console and also PC. We're going to be taking a look at the HUD. Now, first things that you want to do is make sure this is on squared. As you guys see right here, just by showcasing the image alone, you're able to tell the big difference, right? If you have a little circle, which this is the way it comes default, you're not going to be getting the entire map. Now, if you set this to square, as you guys notice on the right-hand side, you get more detail of the map, so you're able to see more, and seeing more on the mini-map could be a life changer and a game changer. Now for the mini-map rotation, I have this to enable. This is just going to give me better sense of direction. So for example, if you notice on the circle portion where it's disabled, the player is looking forward and there is no orientation to where the map or where he's facing. Now based on the other one, which is on the right hand side, you're going to notice that the mini-map actually shifts to the direction where he's looking at. So if there's going to be a player to his left, he's going to be able to know exactly and pinpoint exactly where he's at. Now the compass cardinal direction text, now this one, guys, I changed it to numbers. The reason why you want to change this to numbers is because the difference is that with numbers, you just get numbers on the HUD, and you do not get west, east, north. Usually hardly anybody ever makes call-outs out. He's north 234. He's south 250. No. You could just make a number call out. You get rid of the west, north, and south. All you do is he's at 225 or he's at 30, and people are able to know and swift really fast. This is going to be a life changer to making really, really good call-outs here. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you keep that in mind. Now let's go to graphics. Now graphics are mostly going to be for PC players as well. Basically right here I have mine set to full screen extended window, but majority of that, like, people love playing on full screen or full screen borderless, which is whatever suits your boat. I like full screen extended window. Just makes it easier for me to navigate when I'm streaming. But you guys are definitely going to want a full screen or full screen borderless. Display monitor, that's whatever you have. you know, your capture, your graphics card as well. Render resolution, that's going to be up to you to determine, but what we do want to do is we want to go ahead and enable Vsync. If you are on the PC, this is going to help the game be a little bit smoother. You also want to go to custom frames and click advanced. You want to set this to whatever your monitor is. Some people like to set it at 60. That's pretty good. It's still better than the console. You can set it to 120 or 144 or even 240. This is pretty much what gives a huge advantage to people who are playing on PC. So you're going to set that according to what you like. Basically, if your monitor supports 144, 120, or 240, you're going to want to make sure you put that as high as you can. You want to disable the NVIDIA highlights. I highly recommend that. It does take a lot of your GPU a little bit, so you want to make sure that's disabled. You could probably do highlights with your stream or with a capture card, which is a little bit easier. Now we're going to go on the textures. Now I don't have this all completely set to high. Basically, the texture resolution, I do have that set to high, but everything else I have normal. I have this on partial quality low. I have this on bullet impact and sprays. I have that disabled. Tessellation set to near. This is going to be very important, guys, because this is going to save you a little bit of CPU and GPU. Basically, what this is going to do is whenever you're near, it's going to start rendering. When you're away, it's not going to render, which is really, really good. Shadowmap, I have this set to low. A lot of people like to have this on high. I think low works really, really well for me personally, but that's because I stream and then I try to keep my PC not working too much when it comes to the GPU. But if you have a really high-end GPU, you can set that to high if you want. Now, you're definitely going to want to make sure you enable these two right here. These are going to be the main important ones, the cache spot shadows and the cache sun shadows. Basically, what this is going to do, it's going to save the file of the shadows and the file of the sun into your memory, so you won't have to be rendering that every single time you're playing. It's going to save you quite a lot. And as you guys see, my VRAM usage is very, very low. I still have it, I can still even go even higher if I wanted to here. Partial lighting, I have that set to normal. Directional X-ray disabled. Ambient, I have this set to disabled. Screen space disabled. The only thing I have changed is here the anti-aliasing. I have this set to, the Filmic SMA TS2X. This is going to give me a smoother picture. You can turn this off if you want, if you feel like you're dropping too many frames. But you definitely want to go ahead, if you feel comfortable with this, it's going to make your game a little bit more smoother. Depth of field, this is going to be really important. You want to make sure you disable this because you want to make sure you take away the blur. Filmic strength, you want that to 0. Disabled world motion blur. I don't know why you would want blur, but some people do. Weapon motion blur, you want that disabled. And film grain, you want that set to 0. So those are pretty much the graphics if you're on a PC. On audio, guys, I have this set to boost high. Boost high works really, really good for me. I believe it's going to be the best one to hear foot sounds, even though foot sounds are really, really bad in the game. But if you have your headsets, you should be able to play around with this. I actually have a prefix that I created for my Astro specifically. If you guys would like me to share that with you guys, I'm more than happy to do so. And it actually lets me hear the audio really, really good. It just pretty much boosts the footsteps. So let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want that set. Master volume, I have that to 60. Music volume, I got that 15, a dialogue to 30, and effect volume to 100. You're able to play with these as much as you want, but I believe music, you don't really have to have the music really loud. You should be good to go with that. That's pretty much all the audio. Now let's go into the controller, which is, I'm pretty sure for those of you who are playing on either controller on PC or controller on Xbox or PlayStation 4, this is the bread and butter. So I'm going to give you guys two settings. Number one is if you have a modded controller. Now, when I say a modded controller, that means Xbox Elite, Scuff, or a Astro C40, where you're able to map buttons to your, to your controller. I'm going to give you guys the best settings for that, and also the best settings if you just have a standard controller. So if you have a, a modded controller or, Scuff and Elite, you're going to want to leave this at default. If you do not have this on, if you do not have a modded controller, you're going to want to change it to tactical. It's just going to make it a lot smoother for you to run around and do more stuff with just the controller alone. But if you have a modded, leave it at default. Now, stick layout presets, I have that set to default. Inverted vertical look, that's disabled for me. Now, this is going to be very key. The dead zone. This is something that was new, that was introduced to the game. I have mine set at 0.06. Now, I made a specific video talking about this dead zone because if I cover it in this video, it's just going to take up too much time. But if you want to go ahead and check out that dead zone and how you're able to get the dead zone for you personally, make sure you guys click on the link down below. The reason why you want to make sure you have this set correctly is because this is based on your controller, and not all controllers are the same. So using a dead zone that someone else is telling you to use, like if you want to, someone tells you use a 10, use a 15, use a 20, they don't know what they're talking about because the controller is different for everybody else, and you're going to want to make sure you set this accordingly. Like I said, I have a specific video going over the dead zone. I'll leave a link in the description and also in the annotations. Horizontal stick sensitivity, I have mine personally set to 4, and my vertical stick sensitivity to 4. You're probably wondering, man, Laser, that is super low. I play on 20, I play on 18. Usually what these are going to do, it's going to give you a bit of more of a precise aim. If you ask any pro gamer, all of their settings are really low. They're like in the 4s, 5s, or 6s. You know, people who play with really high sensitivity, some of you guys might be really good, but just because a lot of people recommend playing on high sensitivity doesn't mean you should be playing on high sensitivity yourself. So I would suggest lowering your sensitivity between a 4 and a 6. And once you apply your dead zone, the reason why people play with high sensitivity is because they cannot set their dead zone correctly. If you set your dead zone correctly, these numbers are going to be very reminiscent to what you're going to be having on your screen. Trust me when I tell you guys. ADS sensitivity multiplier, guys, I have this set to 0.90. You could go a little bit lower than this. You could probably go to 0.8 if you want, or 0.85. But 0.9, I think that's the sweet spot for this one. Basically, what this is going to do is that when you zoom in with a low zoom, or you're not scoping in or anything like that, with a scope, it's going to make your sensitivity go a lot faster. Now, I do change that with the ADS multiplier when I'm on high zoom, because I want my zoom to be a little bit quicker when I'm aiming with a weapon that has a scope like a sniper or a marksman rifle. So I would set these either between 0.80 or 0.90. So that's where I would set these up. And this one, you're going to want to leave it at 1. Do not want to mess with this one. I've tried messing with this one and going to like 0.15. I tried a lot of these, and 1 is the best spot to pick here. Now, for the aim responsive curve, you're going to want to set this to standard. Now, if for some reason, guys, you are playing an elite controller and your dead zone is over 0.10, so you saw how mine was like 0.0.6, you're going to leave that at standard. If it's 0.0.10, you're going to want to change this to linear. That's the only time you want to change it to linear, is if your dead zone goes over the 10. So you want to make sure you set this to linear, or you could play around with it and send it to standard. Controller vibration, you want to make sure you disable that. You don't want to have that enabled. I don't know why you wouldn't want to have controller vibration. It even messes you up when you're playing the game, so you want to make sure you set that to disabled. Aim assist. Now, this is going to be interesting, guys, because a lot of people are going to tell you leave this at standard. Now, you're also some people might have this disabled. This is going to give you aim assist, and aim assist is really important. Now, what I want to recommend, guys, if you guys haven't messed around with the aim assist and you have it on standard, this is pretty much the way it works generally, is if you aim at someone, it's going to slow at the target, and then you're going to be able to shoot, right? Then you have 3 other ones. Focusing actually works really good because it does 2 things. Not only does it slow down your sight when you're actually shooting someone, but if you're about to miss someone, it actually slows down your sight and refocuses on that target. I'm going to suggest you guys change this around to focusing, and you guys are going to notice how good this actually is. So definitely give it a try. For scale aim assist field of view, I have that enabled. You definitely want to make sure you have that enabled, because if you don't have that enabled, you're not going to be taking advantage of the of being able to get that aim assist when depending on whatever field of view you have. Now, weapon mounting activated, I have that on double tap. It works really, really well. If you haven't tried double tap, try it out. If you have it set to something different, you're definitely going to want to try that. Mounting the weapons, I have that enabled, of course. Aim down sight speed, have it on hold. Equipment behavior on hold. This one right here, guys, contextual tap is what's going to differentiate you from someone that's able to loot fast and for someone that's not. Basically, what this is going to allow you to do is just going to allow you to pick up stuff really, really fast off the map and just become a better player when it comes to playing the game. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you set this to use reload behavior to contextual stat. Now, the depleted ammo weapon switch, you're definitely going to want to have that enabled. Alright, so for slide behavior, guys, you want to make sure you have that set to tap. The reason why you want to set this to tap and not hold is because this allows you to cancel your slide when you're sliding. So you want to make sure that's set to tap. Auto move forward, you want to have that disabled. Automatic sprint, you want to have automatic tactical sprint. This is actually really helpful, guys, because it's going to allow you to just move your thumbstick up and it's going to put you in a running state as opposed to you having to hold it down and press it down. Highly recommend you guys definitely check that out. And the last one that I want to recommend, guys, is parachute auto deploy. Now, a lot of people have this enabled. Basically, what this does is when you're parachuting down and you're about to hit the ground, your parachute drops out. Now, you've noticed that maybe there's some cases where some people are landing in the spots before you guys are, and that's because they have this disabled. What this is going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to determine when your parachute deploys. So this is going to be giving you a bigger advantage of you being able to go just straight out down from the battlefield into the war zone. So there you guys have it. That's sort of pretty much all the best settings for Season 4. Let me know if you guys did happen to change any of the settings I mentioned and which ones you changed. Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope these actually help you get more wins. And don't forget to hit that sub and follow us over on Twitch. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video.